Welcome to Enchanted Life Inside. We're about to dive into a journey that so many of us are on, whether we realize it or not. A journey from that hollow feeling of success to something real, something unshakable. And it all kicks off with one pretty unsettling question.
Just let that sink in for a second. What if that thing you've been chasing, the very thing that's supposed to prove you've made it, is actually the source of your deepest failure? I know, it sounds like a riddle, but for so many of us, it's a painful reality we're just too afraid to even whisper.
So, our story starts right at that breaking point. Picture this. You finally get it all. You're in that corner office, looking out at the glittering city skyline. You got the promotion you sacrificed everything for. Your evenings, your weekends, probably even a few relationships. This should be the moment, right? Champagne corks popping. But instead, there's just nothing. A complete void. It's like you're watching someone else's life play out from a distance.
And that feeling, that strange, hollow victory, well, that's where our journey really begins, in the emptiness of success.
You see, for years, the person in this story was living like a leaf in the wind, just reacting, no real direction. His whole view of the world was built on anxiety, this deep-seated belief that life was just a series of threats to survive. And his view of life itself? A frantic race where if you fall behind for even a second, you drown. So what were his values? They were all rooted in fear. Chasing money, status, comfort, anything to keep that feeling of dread away. And yeah, on paper, he was a huge success. But he knew the gut-wrenching truth. He was completely and utterly failing at life. And then, right in the middle of that quiet crisis, the phone rang. And this one call, well, it was about to change everything. It was about his grandmother. She was in the hospital.
He rushes to her side, expecting to see this frail, defeated woman. But she wasn't, not at all. Despite all the pain, her eyes were so bright. She took his hand, and in this really quiet voice, she shared a piece of old Vietnamese wisdom that basically translates to this: the heart and mind must see the same truth. At the time, he had no clue what that meant, but those words, they planted a seed.
Over the next few days, she started telling him stories about her life. I mean, this woman had survived war. She had lost literally everything, but she never, not once, lost her sense of meaning. To her, the world wasn't hostile. It was just complex. Her life wasn't some frantic race. It was a journey. And her strength, it wasn't some lucky accident. It was a choice she made every single day. And it was such a stark contrast to his own brittle, fragile, success-driven anxiety. Her quiet wisdom sent him searching for answers. And what he eventually found was the very framework, the very secret to her incredible strength. Turns out it's all built on three core perspectives.
In Vietnamese, this is called Tom Quan. And the best way to think about it is like this. It's the fundamental operating system for your character. It's not just some nice philosophy to think about. It's a real, actionable system for how you show up in the world.
Now, the power of this whole thing is its simplicity. It really just breaks down into three questions you have to ask yourself. First, your worldview. How do you really see the world? Is it a battlefield, or is it a complex place full of opportunity? Second, your life view. How do you see your own life? Is it that frantic race we talked about, or is it a meaningful journey? And third, your values. What do you truly, deeply hold sacred?
So you might be wondering, why was his operating system so messed up in the first place? Well, there's this really interesting idea from sociology that explains it all. It's called the looking glass self. The idea is that our identity, our sense of who we are, isn't always something we build from the inside out. A lot of the time, it's shaped by how we think other people see us. We're basically looking at their reactions to piece together a reflection of ourselves.
And that was it. That was the root of the entire problem. The reason he was so lost, the reason he felt absolutely nothing in that fancy corner office, was because his internal compass was totally broken. It wasn't even his to begin with. He was trying to navigate his own life using everyone else's map, society's map, his boss's map, maybe even his parents' map, but never his own.
Realizing that was the big turning point. He decided right then and there to make a deliberate, strategic pivot. It was time to stop borrowing and start building. It was time to rebuild that internal compass from scratch.
And this pivot led to a total strategic shift. I mean, look at this. The old worldview that saw everything as a battlefield replaced with one that saw the world as complex, with both good and bad. The old life view of a frantic race, that became a meaningful journey. And the values,
They shifted from being driven by fear and just accumulating stuff to being guided by purpose and genuine connection. This wasn't just some small adjustment. It was a complete overhaul of his entire internal operating system.
Okay, so that all sounds great, but how do you actually do it? The process really comes down to 3 core principles. First, you have to commit to seeing what's really true, no matter how uncomfortable it is. Second, you have to accept what you find. And third, you have to start taking small, experimental actions to test out this new understanding of yours.
Now that first step, seeing what's true, it was brutal. It meant asking all the questions he'd been avoiding his entire life. Like, what are the hidden stories I'm telling myself about how the world works? What am I really living for, besides the next paycheck or promotion? What would my life even look like if I dared to see it as meaningful instead of just one big competition?
You know, this journey of transformation, it follows a pretty clear pattern. First, there's an awakening, that moment you realize your map is all wrong. And that leads you straight into what this diagram calls a crisis of belief. And let me tell you, this is the hardest part. It's where you have to completely surrender your old certainties. But it's only after that surrender that you can really start to experience a new reality.
And then, of course, came the ultimate test. A major client came to him with this huge, lucrative deal. We're talking a massive bonus. But there was a catch, right? It required cutting some corners, being a little less than honest. Now, the old version of him, the one running on fear and accumulation, he would have snatched that up in a heartbeat, no questions asked. But this was the moment of truth. Was this whole strategic pivot real, or was it just a bunch of nice ideas he wrote down in a journal? This was the real test of true clarity.
He said no. His heart was pounding for sure. The fear of the money he was losing, of what his boss is going to say, it was all there. But underneath all that noise, for the very first time in his life, he felt this deep, profound, unshakable calm. It wasn't because the decision was easy. It was because the decision was finally his. It was aligned with the person he was actually trying to become.
That decision was 2 years ago. And look, this isn't some fairy tale ending where his life became perfect. The storms still come, of course they do. The difference is, he doesn't break anymore. He bends, he grows, but he never loses his center, because his core is finally, truly his own.
So this whole journey leaves us right back where we started, with that same question. And I want you to be really honest with yourself here. Are your values really yours, or are they just borrowed from society? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your insight might just be the thing that helps someone else find their center too. And hey, if you want to stop breaking under pressure, make sure you follow Enchanted Life Inside for more stories just like this one. I look forward to seeing you again soon, as we explore more of these ordinary things that happen every day, but are, well, very much worth thinking about. Oh, and one last thing. Remember to check out our podcast playlist for more stories you can listen to on the go. It's perfect for when you're driving, winding down at night, or just need to feel like someone's there listening. The link is right there in the description. Thanks, everyone. See you next time.